Let's say, hypothetically, there's a guy who is an artist and he paints pictures of roosters. And then every day he posts a picture of a rooster on X and he gets 10 likes or whatever. One day he sees a video retweeted from Israel, Palestine, and he quote tweets it saying like, dang, this is crazy. All of a sudden he gets 50 likes. He gets 50 responses. So what is happening? Social reinforcement already. Hey, if you do stuff like this, you'll get more views. All of a sudden you start getting tons of people shifting away from their natural course of content into Israel. Now, first, I would say criticism of Israel is not a conspiracy. You're allowed to criticize Israel. Jew-anon, as people are calling it, is very different because it's derailing the Israel argument. You've got people like Dave Smith, who is like, why are we funding these foreign wars? This makes no sense. Ukraine and Israel, we shouldn't be spending money on this. America first, secure our borders. And a lot of regular people go, that's really smart. That's very rational. I like this guy. He's also very funny. And then you get some of these other people who then come out and say, yes, and then start screaming the Jews over and over and over again. And when they do, they get millions of views, even when they're wrong or crazy. And I'll give you a good example. Jake Shields is a really great example of someone who I believe was brain captured or brain shocked or whatever by what is likely a network of fake accounts. Here's a guy who tweets stuff about trans fighters and got a bunch of attention over this, saying he would fight a bunch of trans men and see what would happen. General anti-woke politics. Now his whole thing is just fake news about World War II. Like one moment recently, he said that the Germans never bombed civilians. It's called the Blitz. It's like one of the most famous assaults in World War II history. But he posts these things, and then he gets a big reaction from it. Now, he gets roasted by every regular person, but he's likely being inundated by bots, likely from China, to push this narrative. I don't think it's all entirely China. I think a lot of it is likely deep state bureaucrats, a bureaucratic state, etc. Their goal is, if you've got a prominent conservative who is onto something and they're spreading a message that is anti-deep state, how can we get them to espouse psychotic nonsense? You brain shock them. You spam their posts whenever they post something. So let's simplify this beyond the QAnon stuff. Somebody posts waffles. No reaction. They post waffles. One day they post pancakes. That keyword triggers 70 accounts who instantly respond. He gets, 5,000 views. He gets 70 retweets and a bunch of comments saying, woo, pancakes, we love pancakes. All of a sudden, waffle guy's like, well, nobody watches my waffle content, but pancakes did really well. They switched to pancakes. Even though no one actually is watching or listening, it was a psychological operation. That happens all day, every day. There's your proof of it. Take a look at any big political personality that shifts from seemingly apolitical content to all of a sudden one core issue, and you're looking at someone who is likely mind broken.
Mm-hmm. They do it to artists too. They would buy bots I remember seeing Katy Perry 3 years ago, and all her comments were just bots. Everything just replicated.
Boost the algorithm.
And then there's other bands getting it as well. Maybe they're buying it for themselves to look a certain way, look big online, but then they're canceling tours because they can't fill the venues they booked.
One thing people don't know is that every major artist, they run their songs as advertisements. We did this too. This is, maybe not every, maybe a little exaggerating, but a lot of the really big stars, you'll see one of their songs and it'll have, 50 million views. And it's because they pay YouTube to play it. Mm-hmm. That's just totally normal. And then people think they're bigger than they are. Yep. That's not necessarily the same thing. But the fake it till you make it stuff is very real. So with this, however, this appears to be, whether it's, I don't know what the backstory is necessarily, but it's certainly, we have the original tweet is Chinese AI agent running 50 different instances. Many of them are social media bots. So you're on X and you say something like, China is bad. All of a sudden you're getting blasted by people telling you you're stupid, you know what you're talking about, or being really nice and sending you links being like, China's not the threat we think it is. The real threat is insert some other issue. And then people fall for it. Dead internet theory, you guys are familiar? Mm-hmm. The internet is no longer real. You are no longer talking to human beings. Everyone's a bot. Yeah. Fortunately for me, I know this show is real because I meet people on the street every single day and we take callers at the end of the show. So they're certainly real, unless it's one Chinese guy with an AI voice thing and he's doing all the calls.
I was actually worried about that when I started doing conferences and when I went on the tour all over North America. It was a real concern. It was a concern when I opened up Observer Ranch in Colorado. I'm now more than just a YouTube. We now have a place it's a RV park and education center. People come all the time, but I have to admit, more than once it ran across my head, like how many of my subscribers are real? You know?
Well, that's why Elon wanted to make everyone have to pay, so that these accounts basically get shut out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I tell you this, when I post and I see unverified accounts saying things like, it's not fair that you're posting only to verified accounts, unfollowed, I'm like, get out of here, Chinese bot. Like, anybody who believes in what Elon has been doing, who believes in X, is going to spend $8 or whatever, $7 or whatever. You know what I mean? So I see a lot of people, they'll say something like, set your posts to verified only, and then just get rid of the unverified accounts, because it's likely just some Chinese dude in one room with 50 accounts running. They don't want to spend
They're
hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. They're not going to buy accounts.
Nope. Spend $350 a month just so they can spam you. Elon's smart, though. He's like, hey, if China, Iran, and Russia, and whoever else is going to be doing this, let's make them pay for it.
Just made it more expensive too.
Yeah.
What, on X?
Yeah.
That price went up?
Yeah.
What is it now? $10?
I forget. No, I think it went up quite a bit. I don't remember what the price is though.
It's what?
No.
I think it is.
50?
50?
That's no way it's $50.
Happened a few weeks ago.
Not the base one.
He has a lot of child support to pay.
That's true. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.